Hello, I'm back. It's Cynthia with Halos and more on our foundational knowledge before we get into our tarot class. And in this video, I'd like to talk about the importance of a card spread or layout. So the cards are not only important in their meanings, their suits and their individual meanings, which are influenced by their suits, but the layout in which you place them and the meaning of each placement of the card helps you understand what the card means in your life. So the suit tells you the qualities of the card. Is it emotional? Is it financial? And so on. And then each card has its own meaning, but where it falls in the spread tells you where in your life this will occur, or what part of your life it's going to influence. So the spread is about you and your life, and the cards are about their message. So what part of that message fits into what part of your life? So you can't really have a tarot reading unless you have a knowledge and working understanding of the cards and their meanings, and also the spread and the placement of the cards and what each place means in relation to the cards, because that's how you know how those cards are going to affect your life. So that is what a card spread is for. And if you don't have a very particular knowledge of what each place means for that card when it falls on the table, you're going to go, what does this mean? Or you won't get as good of an understanding of what it means. So I'm just going to go over a couple of card spreads and what they mean. I have a few of them that I want to share with you that are standard. Now, with this said, these are just a few. And what you really need to do is get a notebook like this, one of these school notebooks. And you need to, as you come across card spreads that are useful to you, you need to draw them up with a pencil or print them out. You can do that if you find them online. And sometimes you find them in a book. Sometimes you're at a metaphysical center and you know somebody else, and they say, look at this spread that I have. And so you'll want to write that down and keep it in your a notebook of just spreads, because later, months later, days later, years later, you'll look that up and go, that's exactly what I need to know. So let's take a look at a few spreads. And for this, the placement isn't as specific, but you can create a casting cloth where you, for each spread that you have, and to do that, you'd want to get a piece of fabric that's as big as a tabletop, you know, probably 2 feet by 2 feet or something. No, that's probably too big. At least, 12 inches by 12 inches, something where you're going to lay the cards out. And then you can just draw around your cards with the ballpoint pen and then write on that place, this is for, this is what the problem is, this is other people that it influences, this is the past problems that brought this problem into fruition, this is the final outcome, and so on. So you can make up your own spreads, or you can get them from books, websites, friends, other people. Lots of people were willing to share when you go to tarot seminars. Teachers will tell you, other students will share what they have, and they'll want you to share too. So you'll want to have these handy so you can share, and also because they're very useful when you're doing readings. And the more spreads you have, the more questions you'll be able to answer. So having a collection of spreads that work really well for you is important. Now, sometimes you come across a spread and you work with it and you're like, I just don't understand this. Whenever I lay this spread out, it makes no sense to me. I just don't get it. That spread doesn't work for you. For some reason, it's not the right spread for you. So you have to use them to see, will they answer your questions properly? Do you understand the question? Maybe you don't understand the questions that are being posed by the positions, and you need to change up the question. But anyway, you can also invent them yourself. If you can't find a spread that particularly answers your specific questions, then you can think about how to create a card spread that answers your particular question. And I have found that When I design a specific individualized spreads for people, sometimes the most amazing information comes up that I could never get from a spread that I got out of a book or off of a website. So you want to think about that too. But here's some standard spreads you can start out with if you're a beginning tarot reader. And this one is probably one of the best ones. It's your one card spread. So the one card spread is used when you're in a high volume area. Suppose you're hired as a spiritual advisor at a party, and the hostess has paid you for 3 hours and the guests don't have to pay, and they might mill by your table as they're chatting with one another, and they don't want to spend a lot of time on readings, and readings can take 15 minutes or an hour if you want them to. But sometimes there's situations where people don't want to spend a whole lot of time, and so they would prefer that you pull one card for them, and then they're happy with that and they go on. And you don't want to go on too long, but you want to give them information from just that one card. It also is a way to answer yes or no, with even numbers being yes and odd numbers being no, and unnumbered cards such as the Royal card or the Fool card would be maybe or unknown. So the one card spread works really well. Now I've also noticed that one time I was privileged to be the reader in a party store, a book and party store before Halloween. And I was allowed to charge whatever people were willing to pay me, so I charged $1 a card. And most people were willing to part with $5 and have a 5-card spread done. And they would sit there, and it took about 5 minutes. It wasn't that big of a deal. But it was good for them. They enjoyed that, and it fit right into their busy schedule. But there were a few people that weren't willing to part with $5, but they were willing to part with $1. So I learned quickly that there are people in this world who are dying to know, but they don't have the money, or they can't spend the money that they have because they've got other obligations, but they can part with the $1 because that $1 is probably going to go into the soda machine anyway. So they are willing to give $1 for a one-card spread. And so from every angle, a one-card spread is very, very good. If you're wanting to know a yes/no answer quickly, you could pick one card out of your deck and have an immediate answer. It doesn't take long. If you're rushing out the door and you don't know what decision to make, pull a card and you'll know immediately what to do. You don't have to read, you just look at the number. Is it even or odd? Even is yes, odd is no. Weight, unknown, would be the unnumbered cards such as the Royals or the Fool card. Weight, unknown, don't know. So that's how you would work a one-card spread, and those work really good. If you decide to go with a 2-card spread, you don't need to have a casting cloth or positions on the table for these spreads because they're self-explanatory. So some spreads don't need to have position labels or positions that are particularly defined, okay? So a 2-card spread, you automatically know wherever you put them, it doesn't matter on the table, it would be either or. So the 2-card spread helps you determine either or best versus worst choices. So that helps you with choice making, and if you want to spend more time and need more info, then you can lay other cards, up to 2 or 3 cards. I wouldn't do more than that for each choice. So you know, should I go to work or should I stay home sick today? So you pick out 2 cards, and going to work is the Sun card, joy. That's very positive. You should probably go to work. And the no, I'll stay home, pretend I'm sick today, the Tower shows up. You're like, okay, I guess that disaster could show up. I better not pretend to be sick. I should probably go to work. You really don't need any further clarification than that. But you might have, depending on what card falls, so then you could pick another card or 2 out to get further clarification. And some things are a lot more difficult than should I go to work or pretend to be sick and stay home today? Some things are, should I spend money purchasing a house or a car? Should I spend this much money on medical, info? Should I go to the dentist or, not? Different things that are very difficult to decide is why you're asking. If you knew what to decide, you wouldn't need to ask, right? So, but the cards will help you with that. So then we have, once again with my trusty notes, the 3-card spread. Now you can assign meanings to each position as you choose, but here's some common ones. First, second, and third events in a string of events yet to come. So you'll kind of know what to look for. This will happen first, then that, and then something else will happen. And you'll know, oh, this is the reading. For whatever reason you were looking, wanting to know that. If I go on vacation, what will happen? Well, first you will have, travel problems, and then they will resolve and you'll have a really nice intermediary period where everything seems to go well, but then at the last you're going to have a quarrel with someone. So you might say, well, 2 negatives and a positive, maybe I shouldn't go on vacation this time. Maybe I should wait and postpone that. But so first, second, and third events in a string of events yet to come. Another 3-card reading is past, present, and future. Maybe you want to know, why am I here now in this position, in this situation? What past situations and events brought me to where I am now? Because you really don't know, why is this happening to me? And the cards can help you to realize, oh, that's true. It was this event that brought me here, and maybe it was even your own choice that ended you up in the position that you're in. So then you might want to know, well, where do we go from here? What's going to happen next? And that might help you to determine, now that I'm here, what's going to happen to me, and you can prepare for that better. Another 3-card spread is worst, acceptable, and best options. Maybe you're facing several options, and which ones are the best ones to pick? And of those, which one is the worst for you? Which one is ho-hum, acceptable, and which one is your absolute best option? You might like to know that. Or the 3 top reasons for something that's happening or something that you want to do. What are my 3 top positive reasons to do this? And it might show you none of them are positive. And 3 cards can just give you a message. You can just read the cards as a regular message and understand what it's trying to tell you without assigning the 3 different meanings to it. But you can think of other 3 things that you might want to know. A 4-card spread is interesting. I love this one. I found it online somewhere. I read the blog. I have no idea. This was several years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago even. And I've always remembered this as a very good spread. It's a 4-card spread, and I don't even know what they called it, but it was what you wish for, what you have now, what you need to get what you wish for, and the final outcome. So it's a how to get your wishes to come true spread. And first you have to identify what you wish for, because you may not really be able to pinpoint that. For example, if you want, a better job is what you're wishing for. And the reading might point out that what you really wish for is more personal acclaim, more people recognizing that you are a valuable employee. And that's the underlying issue for you. So then what you have now, maybe you have appreciation that you haven't recognized at work from certain people, and instead of wishing to move on, you need to embrace the appreciation that you have. What you need to get your wish, maybe if you put your nose to the grindstone, quit complaining, and appreciate where you're at, and really value the job that you have, you will be up for an automatic promotion, because your work that's already appreciated will be recognized, because you stop slacking off and feeling sorry for yourself. And the final outcome might show you that you'll eventually get a promotion, and it might be fairly soon. So what you wish for might come up different than what you think what you wish for, is what I'm trying to say. But that is a very good spread, and I've used that many times, and it's never gone wrong for me. Now, a 12 card spread, and once again, you can lay that out any way. You can lay 12 cards in a circle. You can lay 3 on each sides of a square, representing the seasons, and that is a birthday spread or a New Year spread. It shows you the most significant event that's going to happen in each month of the year, okay? And so I've done these for people, and they've been pretty uncanny. And at one time I predicted something very personal for someone, and it did come true. So for that, she was particularly looking for one thing that she was very worried about, and that did occur, and it was predicted, and it did happen. And it's too personal to report on, but just to say this this works really well. And so all you do is you lay 12 cards out. You can lay them in a line, however is easiest for you to recognize which month it is, okay? So if it's a birthday or a New Year's spread, you start with next month, because you're already in this month. So this month is half over. So you start for the first of the following month, and then you go until you get back to the month you're in now of the next year. And you write down what you predict for each month. And that's a very helpful spread for New Year's, birthdays, or people might just want to know, where am I going to be a year from now, and what's going to happen to me throughout the year. So that works really well. And then the 15 card spread is also known as the Celtic Cross, and it's 1, 2, 3 cards down, 2 on either side, okay? And then you multiply all of those by 3, so you put 3 cards in each position, and then you read them. And the one on one side is your past, and the other is the future, and then the 3 that are vertical talk about what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your heart, and what's under your feet, which indicates what you have control over. So what you worry about in your mind, you don't have control over. The concerns of your heart, you don't have control over that. But what is under your feet, you have control over. And then how the past and the present influences all of those things. But the past, present, and future cards, heart is also representative of present. It could represent first, second, and third events in a string of events yet to come, and not have anything to do with past, present, or future. And also, since there's 3 cards in each position, each of those can represent past, present, and future, or some sense of that, because some cards you're not going to recognize as past or present in any reading. And so that's another thing that I depend on, is if I don't recognize it, then I automatically assume, and usually I've been right, that has to do with the future, and I don't know about it yet. So then you wait for the reading to unfold, and that's when you'll find that that card has some influence over what happened in the future. So the 15 card spread, also called the Celtic Cross, and there's various versions of it. You can look it up. Some of them don't have 15 cards, and some of them have an extra line of 4 cards down the side. I don't use those. I don't really feel that helps me. I do better with 3 cards in each pile, and it's 3 down and then 2 on either side. So past, present, and future, head, thoughts, heart, feelings, feet, control. And this could be past, present, and future, or first, second, and third events in a string of events yet to come. And each of the 3 cards represents past, present, and future influences on that section. So then I have a final one that I think is really a good one. And it comes from antiquity, from, not antiquity like the ancient world, but it's a vintage spread. And I call it the 613. And you have 6 rows of 13 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each row has 13 cards in it. That uses up all 78 of your tarot cards. So all of them are laid out. And then what you do is you kind of need to have a really big table or a floor to lay them out on, and it should be a clean space that your pets aren't going to come running through and wreck your reading. and you know, where it's a blank background so you can see it well. So if you have carpeting that's got, you know, designs on it or something, or linoleum, you might want to lay a sheet out so that you can, it's blank and you can see them. But you have to stand up to look at it. It's a pretty big spread. And you find the significators in that spread of all the different people you're interested in knowing about, including yourself, and how far away or near are they to you, as well as how near or far are different events, actions, and stuff. And then from the top going down, the things that are in the top row are just coming in, and the things that are on the bottom row are leaving. And same for left and right. Things that are on your left, the farthest left row, are coming in towards you, and the things on the right are coming out. But it depends on where you're at in the spread. If you're clear down here, then all these things might be converging on you. And if you're clear up at the top, you might be at the beginning of something. Or you might be at the bottom because you're on the way of transforming into a different episode of your life. So where are you in this spread? Are you on your way out of this and into something else? Are you just entering a new phase of your life? So you have to kind of figure out where everybody is. Every one of these spreads is really works well, and it's good to take a photo of them and keep the photo with your reading that you should be writing down. And so you can look back on it, especially if it's a spread that predicts over a year or several months in advance. I don't suggest predicting farther beyond than a year out, because people can't really remember. Some people write things down, but I just think a year is good. And then, you know, that's when, if they only come once a year, if a querist only comes to see you once a year, that gives them a reason to come back, and they should come back more often. But anyway, these are some spreads that I think are very effective, and those don't necessarily need a designation for the placement of the cards, but you find that most spreads out there do tell you this position means this position means money, this position means relationships, this position means problems, or something like that. So then when the cards land, you'll know, okay, here's the problems I'm going to face, and look at the cards that showed up there. And that just helps you to understand the reading much better. So once again, get a notebook to keep them in, jot them down, try to use your best handwriting so you can read what you wrote, and collect spreads from whoever you meet and whatever you read, because they will come invaluable for you in your readings. Okay? Thank you a lot, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.